in addition to the speakers, so you're gonna have some musicians. Do you have any musicians that will be with you throughout, or that are going to pop in, other than some of the locals maybe that'll show up?
Pretty much just popping in, right? And
Cool.
we have some people want to play guitar. Some people may want to put a band on stage. That's going to be hard for us, just so you know. So they have to call us ahead of time. The
Sure.
singer will be no problem because their instrument is right there.
Right. The
So,
setting up and all of that. Logistics is hard, when you're doing these events. People don't realize there's a lot of backstage stuff. And you're talking about Bruce Poppy, right? That's going to be with you.
right, Bruce and I, and then our bro Andrew. So literally, we're just traveling with three. I've done this before with 12 to 14. We're
Wow.
traveling with three because it needs to be in and out real quick. So we're going to have a very minimal setup, but very professional at the same time. So it took a lot of planning to get there, but less will definitely be more in this case. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Bruce Poppy helped us in Yuma. He's an amazing man, and he keeps it going. He is
He
an
does.
amazing professional on that soundboard, and he is a great guy to have with you. So I'm glad to hear he's back. I actually owe him something in the mail. I've neglected to send him for a while, so I got to get on that. Or I might just see him in Arizona in September, and
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
to him.
He'll be there September 9th.
I might just be like, hey, Bruce, I'm not UPSing it at this point. I'm just going to see you here shortly.
Yeah.
So that is the Unity tour, but there's so much else that you're involved with and have been in the past couple of years. I mean, we could go through it. So let's just I'm going to touch on it, and you just pick up whatever you'd like to share more of, because there's some important stuff. Even your movies that you did, Cages was your last one. That was about a year ago or so. But, we've had these movies come out. Sound of Freedom. There's another one coming out this next week, I think. And the trafficking, one of your pillars, Arizona, we're the number 1 traffic state, they say, in America, number wise. And, we're a hot corridor because they can take you. Our malls are a hot spot for them stealing our kids. So of course they traffic people here, and that's what we focus on, is what the kids that are being brought in. But part of the problem is they traffic our kids out of the state, and they kidnap them left and right, from the Indian reservations, the malls. They hit them with an injection. They walk you right out the back door. They've got little teams that do this. So tell us a little bit more about that pillar, and just we'll mention the movie again. People can still catch it because it's so relevant. Sure. And always will be, unfortunately.
So I'm very proud of the movie. It's called Cages, and you can find that on my website or watchcages.com. But again, free. We're not trying to monetize anything on the back of these children. What I'll give you some interesting information that people don't know, because you mentioned about the Indian reservations. We actually had one of the chiefs on a reservation that was going to be part of the movie, but he got attacked and very sick right before he was ready to film with us.
Wow.
You
mean sick, like poisoning sick?
Well, it appears to be that's what it was. He was in the hospital for a while. Yeah. I didn't quite know that he was going to make it, but this is the type of stuff that we deal with all the time. So this is only a speculation, but the word probably got out that he was going to be part of this human trafficking movie, and next thing you know, and then he didn't even want to talk to me after that. And right. there should be no reason, but they probably scared him off. Would be.
It happens. I mean, these are real all things. The time. And we had actually a friend of mine who ran for Congress. He was actually poisoned. So, and he was in the hospital for a long time. It was an attack on him after he had done some PR stuff involving the KKK. He happened to be Black. So it was something that he could speak on pretty clearly, and they didn't like that. So these things do happen, and I think people don't realize, honestly, in 2024, the depths that some groups or individuals even will go to still to silence people, take them off their game, divert traffic from places like, here I have Cages up, human trafficking truth. I mean, this is just the visual of this is so exactly what it looks like. And kids, I mean, we have the count now. They're saying 300,000 in Arizona have been lost. It was about 120, 30,000 2 or 3 years ago, and now they've upped it to 300,000+ in this last report. So, but they've lost, and these are kids now coming in, right? The kids from all the 160+ countries that we hear about coming through Arizona, which, by the way, Arizona is the highest numbers for illegals coming into a state. California had a little influx there in Chumba for a little while, but it was like a few hundred here or there. Texas, he shut that down over there. Abbott did pretty well. But our border's wide open. Katie Hobbs, she doesn't appreciate law and order at all. Our governor, they call her Cartel Katie. So for whatever reason, she thinks that leaving our borders wide open and letting these people come back and forth and bringing kids back and forth is an okay behavior to support. So that is one of your pillars, is so important. I haven't seen the movie, but I probably will. It's really hard for me to watch movies like that. Honestly, it is. I know it's happening. I see it in real life. It's so heartbreaking as a mom to put yourself in front of that for a couple hours. But I would recommend everybody see it if you don't know on the ground, grassroots, what's happening in your state. And it's happening in all the states now, FYI, for those who didn't know. This is not a border issue anymore. And then tell me about some of you have 3 other pillars. So let's go over the election stuff, because that's right around the corner.
Real quick, we made it easy for people that don't want to watch it because I intentionally understood that going in when I wrote the film. And my last thing, I don't think it's productive to break people emotionally, right? You can get them mad, that's fine, but then you can't break them emotionally. So you'll see there's a lot of positivity in there where there's an uptick, where something's been fixed, where something's been handled. And there's an explanation, which I think is really important, so people understand the breadth of this, because on the face, it just looks like human trafficking, right? This is human trafficking funded by the Fortune 1000 companies. It's being directed inside of your DCS, and it is absolutely part of their satanic ritual. I mean, it sounds crazy, but all of that stuff exists. So it's a very important film to watch, I believe, but it is very heartwarming too. And you'll see when we go through it, we intentionally try to heal while we're trying to teach, for that exact reason that you said.
It's a hard subject because it's so real. And if you are a parent, I mean, not even a parent, if you're an aunt, a sister, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, if you're a human being, you know a child. So it's just basic, just the kindness has to somehow come back among crazy people and the sociopaths and the killers. And so the same group of us, we really need to keep this forefront, because these kids are dying left and right, and their lives are, I mean, the most miserable life you could never even want to wish on your worst enemy, probably, if you have any kindness in your soul. So we'll have to leave that one there, because we could talk about that forever. But tell me about the election portion, because we're a month and a half away, practically 2 months away. So,
well, what I'm doing is I want to gather as much information. I'm working with Doug Frank and you and anybody else that can give me information in regards to what's happening with the elections, and if you've had any progress. I need those 2 things, because those are the type of things that we're going to teach people. Part of the Unity tour that I did mention, that's one of the most exciting, is the freedom in action part, where we actually will give people tools on how to take their country back one city at a time, and how to behave in a border supervisors meeting, how to hold people accountable legally. There's a lot of different things that people need to learn, and they just don't have the tools to do it. So we're building a website. Well, we already had it built for years, but we're retooling it, called Freedom in Action, and we have an app that goes along with that. So we're going to talk a lot about election manipulation, but more importantly, what you can do to make a difference, because there are some wins throughout the country.
right?
They're not huge, but if we can compound them over and over and over, we can eventually get the elections situation resolved. By the way, I don't like the saying election integrity, because there is no integrity in our elections whatsoever. They need to be completely dismantled and put back in a particular way, which is very important.
Right. So I pulled up here your Patriot app, the Freedom in Action. It's on the Apple Store now. I looked it up, but it did say that it's Android only at this time. Is that still the case?
Yeah. So they
Okay.
haven't authorized us yet. We're waiting for them to authorize us. We're being slow played by Google and Apple right now, as you can imagine, right?
Yeah,
So it's we jump through a hoop. They say, "Oh, here's 2 more hoops." We jump through those hoops. Oh, hey, and this one and this one. Oh, you should have done it this way. Go back and fix this.
right.
So we've expected that. So when we launch the app, which will be closer towards the 1st of September, we will actually also have it available for download from our website in case Google and Apple keep playing around.
Right, which they always will and always do. So so the app, if I understand it, it's a way to network with people of like mind. It's a way to, find your, I guess, your team of people. Is that accurate? Is that what I read properly?
Yeah. So what happened is it has a geo-targeting aspect in it. So if you put it in a zip code, you can say, I want to know, hear conversations going on within 10 miles from my zip code. And the good news, folks, is they don't have your name, so you could still be anonymous in there, but you'll be within conversations within that 10 miles. You can do 30, 40, you can do the whole country, put 4,000 miles, whatever you want in there, and you're going to get conversations with that in that area. And what is even bigger there is there's an event tab, so you'll know what events, and that is huge. So people will constantly be, and by the way, you or anybody else has an event you know about, post it.
Oh,
And then
that's
everybody's going to know about the event. It's amazing. So here's the really cool part about it. What I envision this being, and this is probably why I'm getting pushback from those 2 entities we just talked about. What I envision this being is a way to organize people quickly. So you say, okay, we have a transgender reading hour at Maple Street Elementary School tonight at 8. Let's get everybody there to protest. And then boom, people come together and take care of it, because where we win is in numbers. When they see us show up in force, that's when they really have challenges.
right.
And then there's a little one that I'm talking to Doug about, Dr. Frank, and this is really cool. It's going to be set up in a way that we'll be able to do real-time reporting on the elections
Okay.
in real time. So if you see something funky going on, you put that right down there. Now it's going to be documented, timestamped for you, and in a location. So you say, based on this precinct right here, here's what I just saw. Boom, 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 boom. And other people in the area will see it also, and they can start tagging in. Hey, this is also going on. Boom, boom. So what we're doing is we're building a real-time portfolio of crime that we can use to take down these baddies.
Right. So that's so important. In Arizona, I also, I've worked the polls before, and we call them observers, which is hilarious because that's literally all you're allowed to do is you observe, you have a little notebook, you write it down. You can't talk to even the managing person on property, even if you see something right then. So nothing gets addressed in real time. I mean, we did have some type of app. I don't know if it was extremely effective because I think part of our problem is we're short on help.
Mhm.
Um, for the lawyers they need on standby, especially in a whole state. And we have a lot of corruption, in Arizona, as really do all the states. But these apps are really great. I know, are you familiar with Commander Jay Furman? I'm sure you are.
Yep.
Texas, yeah. So he too has an app that he actually put out, and I don't even know if it's up for sure yet, but it's similar to that. And I think that together with you guys working on those things in the different areas around the nation to get those up is really helpful going forward, because it is going to be a slow process to get everybody on board to use things like that, and to know that somebody's going to be getting the information. Those of us who are grassroots, it's frustrating to volunteer your time and then not see it yield anything.
Yep.
So that's something to look out for, and people should check that out as well. And that's in beta version right now. So, just be patient with that. It takes a while to develop these things, but also highly valuable. And then we also, we've got the New World Control is also one of your core tenants. So, I mean, talk to us about that. That's just a huge issue in itself.
Well, I think everybody kind of figured out now that that's real. I know that was conspiracy theory for the last 30 years, but when you have your actual political elites saying the word New World Order, it's time to believe them, because
Right.
they want to control us. They need us to be in lockstep. They believe in population control. That's part of the abortion agenda. And hate to say it, guys, for you that may not understand this, and I do get some pushback, they actually have a satanic agenda. So what happens they put out these things because if you opt in, which means you don't say anything and you agree to it, that means their karma is clean. Their karma is unclean when you say, no, I won't take it. Right. So
Right.
this is why they play the games and the manipulation, and they use the mainstream media to push their agenda. So, for example, if you don't think there's new world control, ask yourself that why would Fox News be the first ones to announce that Arizona went for Biden?
I know, with 33 or something percent, 18%. I mean, it was like the lowest percentage number ever. I mean, they don't call it at 76% sometimes.
Right.
And that was outlandish. I mean, I
It's
still,
ludicrous.
when you bring that up, it still irritates
So,
the heck out of
so
me.
because we know they're in on it, right?
That's
So
right.
what they are is they're called controlled opposition. So what they do is they grab market share. They grab as many people with the right messaging as possible so they can crush your soul when it comes down to it. And that's exactly what they did. So people are buying into the Fox News narrative right now that Kamala's ahead by 2%. Of course, she's not ahead by 2%, right?
Right.
But what better way to cheat than convince the United States that Kamala is even or ahead? Because then when it happens, they're going to go, oh, well, we'll go get them next time.
That's right. That's
So
right.
this is all part of the game. I think it will backfire on them because I think what it's going to do is it's going to motivate Trump voters, right? And we're going to come out in force and they're going to overwhelm the elections. By the way, not to offend anybody, but if there's even election, because they're doing everything they can right now with trying to start World War III somewhere around the world, and then they
Yeah.
could declare the War Powers Act and say elections are off the table. We
Shut
have one.
everything down and just massively control us like they did with the flu a couple years ago.
Exactly. The
Where,
flu.
like somebody said the other day, I have COVID, and it was a good friend of mine, and she'd traveled out of state and back, I and she knows all of this, and she's totally in this camp, but still, she says COVID, and I just want to say, so you have the flu, like.
Yeah.
Do we need to really keep that whole thing going? Like, you're just take your NyQuil and get some vitamin C. Like, it'll be fine in a couple days, just like it always has been our entire lives. H1N1 and all.
Well, you're very sweet. My wife is a lot tougher on that. She literally, if somebody starts to talk to COVID or starts to wear a mask or anything, she says, "Are you still buying into that shit?"
No,
That's literally no. I've heard her say it. She says it flat out.
that's
She goes,
great.
no. She goes, we're not playing that game anymore.
It's
Stop.
true. So
Stop.
my delivery is a little different.
Yeah.
Your lovely wife, and she is lovely. Yeah, I'm a little less direct, but I get it. I want to be more direct.
Right.
I just feel sometimes I feel bad for people that
Yeah.
they're still of that mindset and they just really haven't even snapped out of it. I mean, there's a thing called Google, and you can look actual facts up. I mean, the first two pages are not factual necessarily, but the 3 pages on back usually have some good facts in them. And you can Google all this stuff. I mean, it's still out there. You can find it for yourself, NIH numbers, all the data that they suppressed and didn't really bring to the forefront. And it would be nice if people use Google for good instead of.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you can just go to Brave or Yandex and bypass the first 2 pages of gobbledygook.
Yep, exactly. The back pages are the best pages. I always tell people don't go to the first 2 or 3. That's just nonsense over there. But I want to encourage everyone to check out the unitytour.us because this is going to be an epic event across the nation. I know you've done some other tours similar to this in the past years. Did not know you then, but I heard about them from mutual friends. They were also equally amazing. I heard lots of attendees, great networking. The information is, it's all in one place. So again, for those people who are just getting into the truth about our lives, about our country, about our government, these events are really great for that reason. Is you can go and do like a crash course basically, and there's so much information out there and you don't really know what you're reading all the time, and if you don't know how to decipher where you're getting it from, I say go in person, meet people like Lewis who've been in this for a long time, way longer than I have, and talk to them. They're all accessible, they're all approachable. People might think, oh well, they're going to be behind red ropes, right? Or they're going to be, it's only the VIP gets to meet them. But these are not always like that. You can go up and talk to people, introduce yourself. They'll give you contacts, get their websites, search it out, right? Am I accurate with that?
Absolutely. We don't have tickets, so there's no VIP. Everybody's VIP in our mind.
VIP. That's right. So we're all equal, right? So
Exactly.
in the Lewis Herms world, yes, we are all from one and one for all.
Exactly.
So I think that's really amazing, Lewis. I applaud you wholeheartedly, not knowing you very well, but I know the endeavor you're taking on. So God bless you for the undertaking, which is just the enormous hill, right, that you're climbing for everybody else's benefit, really.
God's already blessed it because it's God's work, so it's working out awesome.
That's fantastic. So tell us, everybody who's listening, and I'll put it up later too in the description, but they can find you, I'm sure, on the regular channels, but just let's say it for their benefit.
Well, I am involved in a lot, so the easiest way to find us is just go to screwbiggov.com, screwbiggov.com, and I get banned on virtually every. I have been banned on every social media, but the good news is we have the links on our website, so when we get banned, we just put a new one back up, and people go find us there. So you can find our. I think we have 22 films up there that you can find, and it's a good time. We do the news a couple times a week, do really big interviews. We have a couple of big interviews coming up, and we do interviews of people that you never heard about that probably turn out to be the most impactful interviews that we have.
Yeah, and I saw this one on Border Warriors. Sean Wilson, he was at our Take Our Border Back events a couple times. He'll be with us again. He'll be in Yuma, ideally. And so he's a wealth of knowledge. Victor Avila, amazing guy. Just the information is nonstop, and it's real life, like real scenario information. It's not just somebody on TV talking about something, second partying it or third partying it. These guys are literally at the border for their careers, actually. And so I recommend screwbiggov.com. Here it is. You see Lewis's picture. They've got quite a list. You can go through everything he has to offer. And he's got swag too. So if you want to support him in any way that respect, you can. Of course, donations are always helpful. I don't like asking for them, nor do I, because this is like my fun project here talking to you. But some people are making a living at this because they are the news source, the real news source. And so they do need support. And I will ask on Lewis's behalf to go find his donate tab. If it's $5, 50, 500, or 5,000, every dollar for every person really in this space helps, because it's not a cheap endeavor to do things out of the goodness of your heart. Still costs money in the electricity end, and you still get billed for the cameras and studio space if you have to get that. So just try to be mindful when you are watching everybody's podcast that they have to produce these things, that it takes a little bit of effort and financial backing as well. So
wow. Thank you for that, because it's the hardest thing for me to ever do is ask for donations.
We want to encourage those who are really doing it every day like you do, with the biggest names, the smartest people in the rooms, really, to keep you on, right? Because you're bringing really honest information. So
well, I do appreciate that, and we don't live a lavish life, so we do appreciate everything we can get. The good news is, instead of one of those 600,000 RVs, we started with a 5,000 RV, and we put a lot of money and fixed it up and made it pretty cool. And Bruce owns it now, so he's.
Now wait, are you traveling around in that?
Yeah, and we named it Esther. It was our original RV. We named it because of Juan O'Savin says the Book of Esther, so we named her Esther. And I figured, okay, we were done with it, so we ended up auctioning it off, and Bruce won the auction.
So you
right?
kept it family.
Yes, and he was just doing it as a goof, right? He won the auction, and he ended up spending so much time, and he's just done such an incredible job on it. So Esther's going to take us 11,000 miles coming starting next week.
Wow. So it's a great time of the year to travel the country. The states will be beautiful. The leaves will be turning. The temperatures will be coming down. So everybody needs to get out to unitytour.us. Check out a city near you. Check out Lewis online, Rumble, Facebook, all the channels, X. You're on Facebook, right? Some people aren't anymore, but I think I saw.
Yeah, well, I'm taking down all the time but they
Yeah,
keep putting it back
censorship
up.
is real. Even for me, people like me, they censor me nonstop. They throttle me all day long. So you just have to be
Well,
creative.
you're in a hotbed. You're in a hotbed there. They know it too.
Yeah, they don't like the word patriot. It's kind of a trigger for these guys. So the whole patriot mom
It
thing,
is.
I don't know, scares them for some reason. They must think I'm putting out valuable information if they're shutting me down. But I really appreciate the time and hearing firsthand what's going on for the tour. And like I said, I'll be in Phoenix. If we can help you out here, of course, let us know. We're all willing to go all hands on deck all the time out here. Lots of volunteers. And if you have anything else you want to share, tell us now if I forgot anything.
No, you're awesome. Appreciate you bringing me on. Keep up the great work, you and your team down there. Just you're a real inspiration what y'all do down there, because and I know you're fighting hard, and it seems like sometimes it's one step forward and two steps back, but
It
you're
is, it's a real struggle for all of us. And we just have to, all we can do is really what we're doing in whatever space we're comfortable in. And for me, I'm going to quick share. I don't usually do my own stuff. And actually, I'll tell you a little secret here in a second after I do this. But here's our Take Our Border Back website. It's takeourborderback.com. We've got New York at Niagara Falls area in September 28th. I personally will not be there. I don't think I can make that trip after Texas and San Diego. But
on the 29th, though, we're doing a shared event with you guys right there
no.
in New York. So we're bringing our whole Unity Tour family right to you. So it'll be a lot
I
of fun.
know, I'm highly disappointed. I should have skipped Texas. I was going to originally skip Texas and just do New York as our big one. And I wish now I had. I just can't do them both. But I know Kim and the gang, Scotty will be there. I'm sure Mark Anthony will be there. A couple of us cannot be, but I hope to see you in Yuma on October 19th. I know you'll be wrapping up a long tour, and maybe you could just come and just kick it this time and not have to set up a big tent. If you want, you can, but maybe you just come and just hang out and just have fun and just enjoy the day and the people and the dinners and not do any work. I don't know, just keep it in mind and put it on your calendar and just be a regular old person for a change. And then if you want to come on stage, we'll of course be happy to have you come on stage as well. Bring your posse and maybe bring Jaco again. And we definitely would entertain extra speakers, of course.
Awesome.
So with that, thank you again, Lewis Herms, for being on American Perspective here with Patriot Mom 007. And we hope to connect again. Everybody needs to get out, get educated, get involved on any level that works for you guys, whether it's your PTA, your city council, go to a board of supervisors meeting. Everything's posted online for all of these things in your town, your city and your states. Figure out where the problems are, figure out who's solving them, like Lewis. Get on your Facebook groups, just type in Patriot. A lot of stuff, you can join 100 groups that day. Somebody will have some information that will be valuable. Get on YouTube, check out podcasters, listen to the people that are telling the truth. We appreciate all that you do, Lewis, and just best of luck on the Unity Tour, and God bless everything that happens on that trip for you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, we will be back again with another great guest one day soon, hopefully. And in the meantime, everybody just be good to each other, be kind, be thoughtful, and remember, we are all the same people. We just live in different locations, and we should just treat each other like we're the family that we really are. So thanks again. We'll be back soon.
President's former National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, pleading guilty today to lying to the FBI.
Flynn knew exactly how the system worked. He knew exactly what the intel world had been up to. He understood its funding. They had to get rid of Flynn.
There was a moment where I just felt like I was drowning. So I'm in there with these other political appointees. They're all supposed to go in there and tell what they believe to be the truth. What they did was they took my assessment and they wanted me to change it. And I was like, I'm not changing it.
He was, by definition, the most dangerous possible person for Donald Trump to hire.
President Obama said, but I do have one specific recommendation. Stay away from Michael Flynn. He's bad news.
Over time, instead of being pounded down below the surface of the ocean, we started to fight. I'm now above the surface.
If we lose freedom here, there is no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.